Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to give you your daily dose of dismal Disney. We're going to do a follow-up to Disney's financial situation and how bad things are really getting for the company, even though they like to pretend it's all fine.
Even though people in the comments like to say, you're just full of crap. They're fine. They're completely fine. They have lots of money. How dare you?
Yeah, Disney does not.
Sniffing that dust.
They're sniffing, huffing that pixie dust. So we're going to talk about that and some projects that seem to be put on pause while Disney sorts out its financial issues. Before we get into that, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 167,000?
Yeah, I think so. Yay!
Thank you. I've said before many times, 2020 for us in terms of YouTube has been amazing. You guys have no idea what a blessing it's been, how great it's been for us, and your support means a lot. It really does. Mm-hmm. And we want to continue to
we can help others too. Yeah,
help others if we can, and do what we can do into 2021. So this Disney situation, of course, we've been following closely because, you know, we used to follow Disney very closely. We used to work around Disney.
I do.
You follow Disney very closely on piratesandprincesses.net. That's
all me. Well, sometimes you write and sometimes we have contributors.
Yeah, and
but I mostly do it.
That is Geeky's blog. And WDW Pro, who is a Disney insider, has been writing articles for us lately. He's been doing a lot of he's been doing a
pause for Pro.
Great job. And he's been writing some articles about Star Wars, but he's also commenting on the situation with the theme parks. Now, Disney, when they're in trouble, first they throw people overboard, which they've been doing, and this is completely unprecedented. The company's never had problems like this before. But the last,
contrary to what some people will tell you.
Oh yeah. It's like, it's not fine, guys. It really is not fine. They're just trying to make it look fine so the investors don't freak out.
Dog memes, like, this is fine.
This is fine.
That's what it was.
Yeah, as it burns down. Yeah. So they had something like this happen before, after 9/11, where they had to stop a lot of projects. I mean, look at Pop Century, the hotel. They got half of it done, and then they shuttered the other half until years later they came back to it. And they turned it into Art of Animation. They even finished the original plan, which was to go back further decades.
I'm still bummed about that, because I would have liked to have had a bit, like, stayed in the Roaring '20s or something. It was supposed to be like an area, I think it was more black and white, wasn't it? It was like the turn of the century, 10s, 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Yeah, I think it was I want to say it was a legendary years, and it was so we would have had like probably a Steamboat Willie section.
Yeah, it would have been really cool.
Snow White.
And they were going to do that. And I'll tell you what, it was so creepy, because we stayed at the first time we went down, we stayed at the Pop Century when it was sitting there abandoned.
Yeah.
And you look across the water, and there was this nasty abandoned buildings, and it looked bad. Now, we were there when they started working on it and stuff, too, so we got to see it progress, because we used to always stay at Pop Century. And it was just really creepy. You just got this really eerie feeling coming out of it. It was creepy as heck.
Yeah, there were some videos out there. You know, you get these people who go to abandoned theme parks.
Don't recommend that and don't get caught.
No, and abandoned Disney attractions. And in this case, there was somebody, he was actually on a Segway, I think, and he drove around, what was the abandoned part of Pop Century. And it sat there for like,
long time.
7 or 8 years.
It was there a while.
And it was basically decaying. Now, we had another friend that went when they first opened Art of Animation. Apparently, they were dealing, as she said it, they were dealing with issues because the building sat for so long in the Florida humidity that, like, the floors were sinking and stuff, and they had to repair some of it. So when they start to board stuff up, what we're saying is this is not a good sign. No. They're apparently closing up the Tron coaster.
Oh, no, there's a picture. They've closed the hole.
Yeah.
It's like, I think if you go down, it's on here. I think they put it on here. Yeah, right there.
That's not a good sign. The wall is sealed over the Tron Light Cycle Run roller coaster, indicating a halt on interior construction. They're putting this on pause. This was supposed to be like their marquee attraction for the 50th anniversary in the fall. They were definitely going to have this coaster done.
They've been saying it.
Yeah. And it looks like they're putting on pause. It's not because they can't do it. It's because they're running out of money.
Well, they have this. It's interesting because what happened was, it started the whole discussion. I mean, this is not a new rumor. It was rumored that Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy are getting postponed. Then we had a list come out on the Disney Parks blog, and it was like 21 things to look forward to in 2021.
Yeah.
And they had a list of different things that were opening, like Ratatouille and things. But the Tron coaster and the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind were not showing up. Now, they had been previously saying 2021, and now I looked back the last couple times they've been talking about, they didn't mention 2021 on those, but they were showing like the ride vehicles and the inside construction and all that. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, look how they do this. They quietly cancel things. They don't make a big deal. Look at what happened with Epcot, with the pavilion that just kind of magically disappeared.
Right.
They're not talking about it.
Of course, it was all after they tore it all up.
Right.
And then they were going to refurb Spaceship Earth, and that's been postponed indefinitely. Well, anyway, people are like, noticed that neither one of those attractions were on the list. And they made a big deal how they were going to be open for the 50th of Walt Disney World, at the 40th of Epcot. They had this big list. And now, it doesn't mean that it won't be, but I know if it goes by like the cruise ships and stuff, when they had the park shut down, they had no construction going on. Like, they weren't working on it either. Like, other places did, but Disney didn't. So they already were pushed back 3 or 4 months. And I'm wondering if they were already expecting it to be kind of close to October, or in October or a bit later for the 50th on those 2 attractions. It just might be that they're bumped back to next year because they were shut down. It could be that they get closer to it. They don't want to announce it because they don't know if they'll get it done, and they might re-announce it later. But they closed the dang hole. So I don't on Tron. So I have no idea. But what did Pro say?
Okay, so this is what he said. He said in September, Disney wanted to have a substantial 2021 opening of attraction shows and parades.
Right.
That was before COVID. They were talking the 50th was going to be
massive,
the biggest party they've ever had for Disney.
Well,
ever.
Disneyland was having their anniversary last year, and they lost all of it because they were shut down.
Yeah, now they had a big one before, but yeah, it was
like the 65th or something, and they had to shut it all down.
Mm-hmm. In October, word came that Disney might actually be moving to halt construction on Tron. While they couldn't verify at the time the length of the interior construction stop, we were able to independently verify that it would indeed be paused. And the reason for the delay is money. Our report was even more significant because while we were reporting that Disney couldn't even finish a marquee e-ticket attraction, they were simultaneously telling everyone it was full steam ahead on Splash Mountain. Changing
social reasons, yes.
Changing Splash Mountain to make a very vocal minority of people who seldom complained about this attraction. Most people don't want it. In fact, I mean, this is such a failure anyway with Splash Mountain because they had 20,000 signatures pushing for them to change. They had like 100,000 hoping to keep it. But yeah, people were wondering, why are you shutting down this attraction? Why are you pushing this thing back? But you're going to dump millions of dollars into Splash Mountain right now.
It doesn't need rethemed.
Doesn't need rethemed right now. Some might say, well, many projects get placed on delay.
Well, they've been delaying a lot.
Yep. Typical delays don't involve companies sealing the project shut.
Right. That's what was weird.
Disney has officially removed Tron from the list of attractions and shows opening in 2021, and they made every visible indication that our reporting was correct. They are likely going to finish the exterior of Tron, but the interior has or is stopped until late 2021. That means we'll be seeing the opening of Tron in 2022 at the earliest, and Cosmic Rewind is almost certainly behind Tron. So we're talking, we might not see Cosmic Rewind for 2 or 3 years.
Cosmic Rewind, from my understanding, is going to be very involved. Like, they're having these brand new vehicles that they're making and patenting or whatever. Mm-hmm. They have, it's like they're going to be one of the longest indoor coasters in the world. So it's like significantly bigger than this out of the box. Tron already exists in this form overseas. So it's just a duplicate of what they already have. With Guardians of the Galaxy, it is completely new, and it's going to take a lot of testing and a lot of different things, so it's going to take longer. It's more involved.
What gets me about this, too, is while Disney is shuttering projects like this, Universal is dropping surprises like the Velociraptor coaster. They're moving full steam ahead on stuff because they know eventually the pandemic's going to be over. They know eventually the crowds are going to come back. Plus, they've got Comcast propping them up. They don't have to depend on just the theme parks and the Disney Plus, whatever. They've got,
And if Disney had so much money and they weren't worried about the theme park closures and everything, like some people want to argue, why the heck, every time they had an opportunity to get in there about Disneyland not being able to reopen and trying to constantly put that in the media, every time anybody questions anything, Disneyland, if they weren't worried about money and they weren't worried about Disneyland and all that, why mention it?
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
Yeah.
Why change your entire company focus? Yeah, wouldn't.
You wouldn't. So this is interesting. This is Pro's opinion. They said they've already sunk massive amounts of money into the attraction. They've got construction nightmare in Epcot that already consumes much of their bandwidth.
Amen. I'm sorry. So be it. Sorry.
Amen and a woman. They knocked down half of Innoventions, and then they had to stop. We're not going to get that stupid saucer pavilion garden thing.
Oh yeah,
it's been quietly canceled.
The Play Pavilion, it might be on hold. It's up and down. That one they keep saying, oh no, it's moving forward. They had some information on it, then they said another time that they thought it was on hold again. They stopped the Spaceship Earth refurb.
Yeah.
But that whole middle section is completely torn down. Both Interventions are torn down. They're rebuilding Mouse Gear.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But it's a mess. Like they tore all this stuff down to make room for all these things they were going to do, and now it's just sitting there because COVID happened.
Yeah, but this is interesting. He said, they need another e-ticket out the door to bring back the crowds, and the crowds are loud, and they can't do it. Here's what I'm going to say. This is Pro's opinion.
Okay.
So if Disney can't finish Tron and then they start to make multi-$100 million changes to Splash Mountain, they deserve whatever financial crash they land in down the road because it's gargantuan level stupid. If Disney lets the Pablo Hidalgos and Kathleen Kennedys continue to drive Star Wars into the ground instead of throwing everything they've got to Favreau and Filoni, they deserve to continue having massive attraction facades standing with nobody allowed inside. Disney has lost their cruise lines.
Yep.
They've lost all their parks but Disney World. Essentially, everything is shot for Disney except for Disney World and Disney Plus, and only one of those two is currently profitable, and it isn't Disney Plus.
Right, which we've mentioned.
We have said
it's
this
not going to be
before.
profitable for a while. They say it's going to be profitable earlier than they anticipated. Going by the numbers they're saying, which there is no evidence that those are, they don't, no one else sees the numbers but them.
Yeah.
So I could say that too, but it doesn't make it true.
Disney has never been in a position like this that I can remember. The closest they got to it was when they built Epcot, and they way overspent on Epcot, and they had a string of box office bombs, and they had to bring in Michael Eisner to write the ship, and it worked out for them. But in this case, I think this is Bob Chapek, because we see this, he's all of a sudden, he's like, put the brakes on the spending. Because that's the way Bob Chapek rolls.
Bob Chapek, budget cut Bob.
And that's why he was brought in. But look, guys, Universal making a big deal about Super Nintendo World in Japan, making a big deal about the new Jurassic Park coaster. Mm-hmm. They're plowing ahead, building attractions. Epic Universe is going to be delayed a year or two, but still coming.
Yeah, they said it was still coming. Yeah.
And Disney.
Nintendo World, Super Nintendo World is still coming. They said flat out, it's still coming to California and Orlando. Yeah,
but Disney, they're just they're stopping. I mean, this is what people are going to come for. They wanted this coaster, all the stuff to be ready by 2021. They wanted everybody to come for the 50th and have all these new rides, and that was the plan. And that plan is shot to hell.
The only one that we know we're still getting is Ratatouille.
Yeah, because that one was... And
it's another clone.
It was a clone. It's a pretty easy ride system.
Tron and Ratatouille are both clones. The only one that was new was Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. And they're not getting those two, the Tron or the Cosmic Rewind.
So, he mentions at the bottom, he said about Disney, getting to the point where they're kind of freaking out. They have to. We're seeing this. We're seeing blog posts on Disney blogs that are, bankrolled by travel agencies. Basically flipping out. They're like, book a trip. Hurry up, book a trip. Crowds are low. Book a trip. Everybody come and book a trip. Yeah, they have a lot of people in the parks, but most of those people are locals. They're not staying at the hotels.
Yeah, so they offered another deal. I didn't cover it yet, but they offered another deal to Florida residents that is for reduced ticket prices, because they know that the people that are coming are the Florida residents. Yeah. So they're trying to get them in there where, you're still 2 hours away. Come stay in the park. Here's a ticket that's cheap, They're trying to do that now. Or go with annual pass holder discounts and stuff. Yeah, but then are they selling new annual passes yet? They're not. I don't believe they're selling new annual passes, no. I could be wrong. I haven't checked, but I don't think they are. Yeah, and then people were worried. They're thinking that they might just shut the APs down completely. They might. Who knows? Or jack them up considerably. Or take away the perks. That's what they keep doing. They're going to start charging, and they have to. But the thing is it becomes this vicious cycle where you start charging more money for the people you have. You're going to eventually you're going to hit a ceiling and chase away your remaining customers. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to have to cut back on more things. And then fewer people are going to come because they're like, it's not worth it. We're already getting articles, we talked about this before, where people are like, beyond whatever health concerns you might have about going to the parks, they said it just financially, it's not worth it because it is a budget cut experience. You don't have a lot of the parades. I mean, they're little cavalcades, but it's not a parade. You don't have the fireworks. They have some things here and there, but it's not the same thing. It's just not the same thing. I'm sorry.
So, I mean, Disney is in this. I can also, I've never, and we've been watching Disney for years. We're huge park fans going way back. I've never seen them in a situation like this. I don't think they've ever quite been in a situation like this. We might have attractions. Now, I'm not saying Tron is going to sit there closed up and forever, but we might have attractions that were announced that quietly get pulled.
Oh, Mary Poppins did.
Yeah, Mary Poppins got pulled. That's right.
Right, and so I mean, and I know they're pulling different things that they've announced, and people said that a lot of times, insiders have said that there are things that they haven't announced yet that they were thinking about announcing or they're working on that they quietly pulled out the back seat of a hurt. Whatever happened to the Mickey Theater that was going to be in Magic Kingdom? It was gone.
They were actually going to build a theater on Main Street, and they were going to add on to Main Street USA. They were going to have a whole section. I was actually looking forward to that. They were going to have a whole section that was going to go behind Main Street that had a whole nother area with a theater.
Yeah, that's kind of why they take you, if the things are blocked off, they'll take guests back that way out. They're going to put it back there.
Well, they had, now the last time I was there with a tour guide, I don't know if you were there that time or not, but they actually had the sidewalk ready for it. Like, it was all paved. Before, it wasn't like all pretty, but they actually had like sidewalk and trees and stuff like that back in there where that would have been. And then I asked him, I'm like, are they still doing this? He's like, nah, just no, I know what it was. It was a Skyliner. The Skyliner killed that project. They needed the money to
was that what it was?
Yeah, or they said it was either Skyliner or they were actually looking at that point at getting new monorails or something, but they weren't.
They need new monorails. You need new monorails.
We needed new monorails before we needed the Skyliner.
Right.
I'm just saying. So I think what's going to happen after this is Disney is really going to have to sit down and be like, what makes money? We're going to have to focus. Do not expect, because this was great for a while as being theme park fans, having these parks try to one up each other. Every year there was something new at one of the parks. They always had something new coming, and now I think we're gonna go back to having like no new rides for 10 years. Once they get all this stuff done, I think it's gonna be like nothing new.
I don't know if it'll be that bad, but we'll see.
I don't think we're gonna have massive new lands built, and especially with Galaxy's Edge being such a dud initially, I don't see them going out and being like, let's build a whole new great big land and spend $1 billion.
Should make the great big beautiful Tomorrowland.
Yeah,
they already have Tomorrowland, but it's not the great.
It's not very beautiful compared to what it used to be. Yeah. But so I don't know, guys. We're gonna wrap this one up though. Very interesting. Mickey's definitely hemorrhaging cash, and it's a very interesting time to be a Disney fan.
But I love it. What do you know? I don't know. If you don't believe us, maybe you believe someone who actually is in there and knows.
There we go. Just because you don't like the truth doesn't mean it's untrue.
That's what I always say.
So we're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.